Hey everyone, welcome to today's lesson about spheres. We're first going to look at what a sphere looks like. We'll check out the surface area and the volume formula, and then we'll go ahead and do a few examples. First, here's a sphere. I like to think of a sphere as a globe. I'm drawing a sphere here, and this line that I'm drawing is what's referred to as the Great Circle. The Great Circle is essentially the equator of our sphere. It is the circumference that goes all the way around the sphere. Now, the radius of our sphere would go from the center to the edge, just like in a circle. But now we're talking in 3 dimensions. It's going to be very important for each of our formulas to find the radius of your sphere. Let's look at the formulas. On your formula sheet, you should scroll down to the bottom where you see sphere. You'll notice that the box for the lateral area is crossed out. If you think about it, this makes sense. Since the lateral area represents just the sides of a 3D figure, that doesn't really apply to a sphere. So we only refer to the surface area. The surface area formula is 4 pi times the radius squared. Again, the surface area is 4 pi times the radius squared. Our volume formula now is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. Again, the volume is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. All right, take a look at the front page in your packet, and we're going to try a few examples. In question number 1, the radius is given to us. The radius is 7, and that's very important. Since the radius is given to us, we can go ahead and start to just plug into our formulas. Since the surface area, we remember, is 4 pi times the radius squared, I can write down 4 pi, and then I'm going to square 7. When I multiply 4 and 7 squared, I get 196 pi. I want to leave my answers in terms of pi. For volume, I write down my formula, 4/3 pi times the radius cubed, so 7 cubed. I will cube 7 and then multiply it by 4/3, and I get a total of 457.3 pi. Now, for volume, I should have units cubed, and for my surface area, that's units squared. In our next example, I'm given the diameter. Remember, to use my formulas, I need the radius, so I work backwards. The radius is half of the diameter, so in this case, my radius is 19. All right, plug it into my surface area formula, 4 pi times my radius squared. When I do 4 times 19 squared, I get 1,444 pi units squared. For volume, I take my formula, 4/3 pi times the radius cubed, and my radius is 19 again. 19 cubed times 4/3 gives me 9,145.3 pi units cubed. All right, I'm given the circumference of a great circle. So remember that great circle is the circumference of my sphere. If the circumference is 16 pi, I need to work backwards. I know that the circumference is pi times the diameter, so the diameter here is 16. And if the diameter is 16, that tells me that the radius is 8. Wonderful. Now I've got everything I can use to solve. 4 pi times the radius, which is 8 squared. 8 squared times 4 gives me 256 pi. Moving on to the volume, I've got 4/3 pi times my radius, which is 8, squared. Cubed rather. 4/3 pi times 8 cubed gives me 682.6 pi units cubed. Okay. Last example I'll do, I need to work backwards from the volume. First things first, I want to write down my volume formula. That's 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. I know that's equal to 972 pi. All right, first things first, I notice that I've got pi on both sides. So I can divide by pi and they'll both cancel. So now I've got 4/3 r cubed equals 972. I want to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/3, which is 3/4. So now I've got r cubed equal to 729. Now, this becomes the tricky part. To undo something cubed, I need to take the cubed root. You should be able to find the cubed root button on your calculator. If not, you can do a little trial and error. What number times itself 3 times equals 729? You should find that the radius is equal to 9 centimeters. All right, let's use that radius to find my surface area. My formula again is 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi times 9 squared gives me a grand total of 324 pi centimeters squared. All right, now it's your turn. I'd like you to try questions number 5 and 6. For question 5, it's asking you to find the surface area and the volume to the nearest square inch, which means please multiply pi into your answer. Don't fret, the answer should be a decimal. Once you found your answer, check it. For 5a, you should have gotten 42,273.3 inches squared. The volume should be 817,283.2 inches cubed. For question number 6, when you're finding the surface area, remember it's 688 equals 4 pi times the radius squared. Divide both sides by 4 pi. So r squared is equal to 54.7. I take the square root of both sides. So your radius should have been equal to about 7.4 centimeters. All right, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you got those questions right. If not, go back and check your answers. Now, one last favor. To show me that you've completed the video, please scroll down to the bottom. Over question number 9, please put a star. This will let me know that you've seen the video. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.